Hello, you're watching Musings with Wolf. I'm Wolf. These are my musings. Basically, I sit around and chat about topics which may or may not. Excuse me 1 second. Scared you, didn't I? Anyway. So yeah, basically just chat about topics which... Actually, hold on 1 second. Freaking hair in my mouth. Stupid ass. Anyway. Yeah, I chat about topics which may or may not be of interest to yourself. That's why I chuck the name of the topic in the title. And today's topic will be traveling, pros and cons of traveling. See, when I was a much younger Wolf, I did a lot of traveling before I settled down and, had the family and stuff. I did a lot of traveling around the world. A lot of people you meet traveling are from, well-off families, and they choose to just, they have the choice. But I worked quite hard to save money to travel around because it's something I always wanted to do growing up. And I wanted to talk about pros and cons because with social media, twisting what traveling is actually like. You don't really have a clue until you go do it. So traveling. So I'll probably talk about the cons first because you see more of the pros. Cons. I notice when you're traveling a lot, you get a bit fickle-minded because in normal life you're around your same friendship group, and when they have ups and downs, they support you and you support them, and you might fall out with a friend, you might have a really big fallout, and then you're with them enough to see that things get better, and then you make amends a few weeks later, a few days later, or whatever. Whereas traveling, because your friends are so transient, you can literally meet a friend, and then the next day you're with a new friend. You become a bit fickle, and you judge people quite quickly. You're just like, oh, this person's, been mean to me once. I don't want anything to do with them. Whereas in the real world, who's going to be mean to you? Like, who's going to be nice 100% of the time? You got to be realistic. And you become fickle with work as well, because you just kind of like, if you're trying out a job, because you constantly have transient jobs, you're just like, who's yeah, you're just like, what benefit is this job doing me? I'll move on to another job. Whereas in the real world, you kind of, in your average world, working, getting a house, having a steady job, you have really bad weeks, days, months, whatever, but you see it through because you're fortunate enough to have a job. Whereas traveling, you pick up a lot of temporary jobs. I worked on construction sites, in restaurants, all sorts of things. So that I'd never done before. So yeah, that's another con of traveling. Obvious ones like money. Spending money, which isn't really a problem if you don't really have the plan to settle down at any point. Like if you just want to be a full-time traveler, it's fine really. Another problem is you're always because you're always on the move, it's quite a wasteful lifestyle. Like I think I read somewhere once that staying put and having TV and car and all that is better for the environment than traveling around for just was it 20? I can't remember. So that's a good stat. so sorry. It's fine, it's funny. Anyway, it's their cons of traveling. Pros, loads of pros. You get to see lots of things. Oh, sorry, one big con, I forgot. It's kind of like consumerism, but it's, rather than stuff, it's experiences. You're always wanting the next hit, which when you're young, I think you kind of go through that, but it's not never satisfying. You're always wanting like something more. And when you're at a table and people are telling stories, you kind of like you kind of like you've done so much interesting, like weird, crazy stories that you'll probably forget about in a few years. I've forgotten most of them. You get bored by like the mundane. It's boring, which sounds like good in today's society. We push to have a really interesting life and to have all the stuff, and normal is boring and you should shoot for the stars. But in reality, I don't think so. I think the best bits of life, for me, traveling was just the best bits were just having a cup of tea with someone and cheering them up. It's just the same stuff. It's never the crazy experience you do, like skydiving out of Kilimanjaro at like 700 miles per hour or something. It's just, or like, you know what I mean? It's just the normal stuff. So, yeah, that's probably the cons I can think of off the top of the Wolfio Dome, as we call it. Right. So pros, and you get the pros, like, you get to see loads of stuff, blah blah. But I'm talking more of like the long-lasting pros. Is the biggest pro, to be honest, is it opens up your mind. Like, I've never taken, or at least I don't know if I have. I don't think I've taken a drug in my life. Please don't age restrict me, YouTube. But sorry, a hallucinogenic in my life. But I hear people say things like it opens up your mind, which if you don't have the discipline to, like, I'm not going to condone drugs at all, but if you have the discipline to do other things which are mind opening, like meditation and all that kind of stuff, traveling is really good because you step outside of who you've always been told you are. Like, if you've been brought up and everyone's been like, oh, I don't know, you're a big fella, and people say, oh yeah, you're the big strong fella, and then you have to keep thinking that that's you, and it becomes your identity, and you might not like it. You might be like, I don't want to be the big strong fella. I want to be freaking gay or something. Or I want to, or you get told you're the funny fella, and you just like, I don't want to be the funny fella. I want to write music and want people to take it seriously. Then when you travel, you're in a room full of people that no one's ever met you, and how you interact with them is how they perceive you. So you kind of have like a free playground to be whoever you are. It's particularly good if you've been brought up religious and everyone around you's been like orthodox or strict on their religion, and then you travel and then you get all these new perspectives, which can be very helpful. I'm not saying religion is not good, but I'm just saying it's a good way to open up your mind. That is like one of the best points of traveling, I think. And I like the quote, I can't remember who says it, but traveling is not about seeking new landscapes, but seeing the same landscapes with different eyes, which is a really good quote. But I think sometimes you have to travel to realize that that you just need a different mind state. Another good thing about traveling actually is sorry, I just said something outside. We weren't expecting someone to knock on the door. Sorry, I'm just weird. Another good thing about traveling is just the people you meet. I met some amazing people who I'm not in contact with today, but I often think about them and they had such a huge impact on me. And I could have only spent like a week with them or something, but you know, it's you meet people who, I had issues like with my own stuff, like addictions, um, and you meet people who aren't addicted to the same things as you are, and you find it very inspiring. And I, yeah, meeting people and just having that rub off an effect on you.